This video will take us through the scales of measurement. Now, this is a very important topic in order to really be able to understand the statistics that you do when you are evaluating the results from a study. So in order to do the proper type of statistics, you need to know and understand the scale of measurement that you are using. It can also be a difficult concept for students to grasp. So in addition to watching this video, you'll also have a lab that will help you go over those different scales of measurement. So when we're talking about these different scales of measurement, it's assigning individuals or events to some sort of category. And these categories can be names or numerical values. So we're going to talk about nominal, ordinal, interval, and ratio scales of measurement. And just as you'll see as we go through the video and through your lab, is that each one comes with an increasing amount of information. So when we're talking about the nominal scale of measurement, it's going to label and categorize individuals or events. There's no quantitative distinctions. It's just simply identifying which category they belong to. So examples might be something like male or female, positive, negative, neutral words, favorite snack or candy. So do you prefer M&Ms or Skittles? What's your favorite? And so you'll get a number of, 25 people prefer M&Ms and 10 prefer Skittles. There's 30 males and 25 females, something like that. So you're just categorizing and identifying which group the individual or event belongs to. Then we go up to the ordinal scale. And so here we see we're identifying, but we also have a magnitude. And so here we're organizing by size, or magnitude is another way of thinking of size. And it categorizes your observations still, so it's still categorizing those individuals or events, but there's a magnitude related to it. So now we have identification. We know which group the individual belongs to. We also know which one's bigger or smaller, kind of. So you can think of it as a rank. As a rank in the class, maybe a preference for a type of soft drink, grade, something like that. So here we have the smallest to the biggest, or the shortest to the tallest, right? So we know which direction the individual's going. We can identify if they're in the smaller side or the larger side. We know the magnitude. We know that this is bigger than this. So we know there's a difference between them. But we don't necessarily know is there the same difference in height between all these individuals? Or do we have a small difference? And then a big difference? And then another small difference? So we don't know that the incremental changes are the same. Same thing here, we have ranked. So a lot of times when you see like first, second, third, smallest to largest, something like that, you know you have an ordinal scale. So anything that involves ranking. So cookies and cream is my son Tyler's most favorite ice cream. His second favorite is mint chip, and his third favorite is butter pecan. Now, do I know for sure that he likes the difference between the amount he likes these two is the same as the difference between these two? Or does he really like this one twice as much as he likes that one, and this one three times as much more? I don't know, because this just ranks it. It just gives me the order. It gives me the identification of which one and how many people like it the most. It identifies the best and the not so best. And it tells me the magnitude, which one is better, but it doesn't tell me necessarily how much more. Now we go up to the interval. So we identified, we had magnitude, right? Now we have equal intervals. So now there's equal intervals between these ordered categories. The important thing to see here is that 0 doesn't mean 0 though. So if we look at something like temperature, 0 degrees Celsius or Fahrenheit doesn't mean that there's absolutely no temperature. Other examples might be like the Likert scale. So we'll come back to this again. So a Likert scale, it is a ranking. So a lot of times it might seem like it's ordinal, right, in terms of measurement. But psychologists, you'll see in your lab, and I'll try to reemphasize that psychologists like to use the Likert scale ranking as an interval scale so that they can do the types of statistics that they want to do. So there's an assumption that those that Likert scale ranking, there's an equal interval between those numbers. Time of day, again, 0 to 100 hours doesn't mean that there's no time at all. It just is, it gives you an equal interval. There's 60 minutes in each hour, right? So we have an equal interval. Same thing with IQ. So when you're talking about an IQ, you don't have a 0. It goes, you start kind of around 70 or something like that. So again, with that, you're not going to have a true 0. Then we get to ratio. So we identify, we have magnitude, we have equal interval, just like we had with the other 3. Now we add in a true 0. So these are things that can be very much quantified. Height, weight, income, GPA. Something could be 0 inches tall, if it didn't exist. Weight, something could weigh nothing. Income, you could make absolutely no money. GPA, sadly, it could be a 0. And so that there's these equal intervals, and so you can actually then take, because there's a true 0, you can take that and you can make a ratio. You can say that being 10 feet tall, or being 10 feet, not a person hopefully, is twice as big as being 5 feet, right? You can say that something that is 4 inches is twice as big as something that's 2 inches, because you can put that in a ratio, which you can't do with any of these other types of measurement because they don't have that true 0. So here's just another way looking at the ability to compare different measurements. So the nominal reveals whether there's a difference, okay? Whether there's males and females. What is your favorite song on the radio? It reveals whether there's a difference. Ordinal is going to indicate the direction of that difference. This is my favorite song. This is my least favorite song. Interval determines the direction and the magnitude of a difference and gives us an equal interval between that magnitude. Ratio determines the direction, the magnitude, and the ratio of a difference. So you can then again represent the ratio between those differences. So each one gives us increasing amounts of information. Now, when we use these in terms of our dependent variable, it allows different types of statistics. And again, here's just that table overall summarizing what we discussed. And now we'll do our lab. We're going to use fast food restaurants as an example and take us through each level of measurement to help us hopefully truly understand what they are.